dementia and memory problems and stuff like that.
Whereabouts are you first?
We are in Wynnum, 94 Edith Street, Wynnum.
Oh, I know it well.
Yeah, it's good, it's good. So it's a nice little clinic. It's a multimodality clinic, so we've got, different techniques there, different... We've got 3 practices who do kinesiology, Kat and Georgia and I, and we've got several people who do massage, musculoskeletal therapy, that sort of thing, Rob and Kat. Rob's actually going to be in with us in a few weeks as well to have a chat, because he does this weird thing called quantum consciousness healing. He's just got back from his he's been studying it for 2 years. He's the acupuncturist, but it's funny, he ends up getting this look in his eyes like he's... off the planets, when he goes away to these courses. He just gets so excited, and it's good.
Now,
anyway.
listen, down there in Edith Street, excuse me, it's just getting frog in the throat.
Yes.
Now, I think we would have brought up a few things that might touch people's brains.
Yeah.
And think, that might be what's wrong with Judy or John or whatever.
Yes.
Are they allowed to go on there and just sort of have a bit of a chat with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the sort of things that we do, to help with memory issues or bullying or confidence, self-esteem, that sort of thing. We do different things depending on different people's belief systems. Yeah. So I love kinesiology, and that's probably where I would start, because there's an immune protocol where you can actually see whether or not it's more likely to be stuff like estrogens or heavy metals or stress hormones or pain hormones that are doing things like messing with the brain. And because you have a bad phone call, for example, and you're all stressed out, and all of a sudden you forget 3 things you were supposed to do that day.
Yeah,
stress really affects your memory.
It
absolutely does. So therefore we might, choose to make up like liquid herbals for some people, to sort of help them with stress levels. Yeah. And just by doing that, their memory might start to improve. If people have all their latest blood tests from their doctors, we really do love seeing them. So it's always good to get a copy of your blood tests. We're entitled to them.
Sure.
Because as naturopaths, we look at things a little bit differently. And I think I've said this before, just because your B12 levels might actually show up okay in your blood test, but B12 does a lot of detoxification as well, the same way cholesterol does. So if your B12 levels are raised, it might actually be because your body's pulled B12 off your nerves to dump into the bloodstream to bind with toxins. Right. So therefore it might actually show up as being quite high in your blood test, because at the moment there is actually plenty in your blood.
Yeah,
but if
that makes sense. I'm following that.
And the same thing goes with cholesterol. High cholesterol is not necessarily a bad thing, because cholesterol is also a detoxification agent. One of its job is to heal capillaries. One of its job is to heal the brain. One of its jobs is to sop up toxins. So when your cholesterol levels go up, quite often it's because your body is doing something with it. So by just shutting down cholesterol levels without thinking about what might be going on behind it, we're stopping a function in the body that might actually be doing something good.
Okay.
So basically, by looking at things like looking at someone's blood or looking at the oligo scan, checking out heavy metals, by doing kinesiology, even Rob with his acupuncture, have you ever had acupuncture?
I have, yes.
Yeah, so there's this pulse check that they do, and each pulsing point on the wrist relates to a different organ of the system. So a good acupuncturist will be able to find out whether or not you've got excess energy in, say, your liver or your kidney or spleen, or a deficiency in your adrenals or your thyroid, or so basically, and then they know where to put the needles, and then they feel the pulse to make sure the needling is doing what they're expecting it to do. So there's all this science behind, which is what kinesiology is based on. It's based on the science of acupuncture first and foremost, so a lot of it is Chinese therapy. But then what Georgia and Kat and I do, this process called LEAP. It's a learning enhancement program which was originally developed for dyslexia and ADHD and things like that, but it's so beneficial for people with memory issues.
Right.
Oh, and I chatted to you in the break about the fact that bullying can lead to dementia.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So the reason being that they found that people with dementia, the part of the brain that governs the memory is called the hippocampus. So the hippocampus has 2 little hippocampi on each side of the brain, and they're supposed to be connected by about 5 to 8 million neurons. And basically when we are under stress, our hippocampus shrinks Because if you've got a tiger that's about to attack you, the last thing you need to do is be thinking about getting milk and bread on the way home and, picking up your soup from the dry cleaners. Not important. So basically, if the tiger's in here, it shrinks the memory centre so you're not thinking, you're only acting. Right. It wants your fight, flight and freeze mechanisms to kick into action, and they're in a totally different part of the brain. They're in the rear of the brain, and that's the area that is your survival stuff. So, but you can imagine if you're going into war every day at work and your hippocampi are shrinking on a daily basis, and you're getting home, you're thinking about it, you're not sleeping very well, you're feeling anxious and stressed, when is your memory centres going to get a chance to rejuvenate itself?
That's when my hippopotamus moves sets in.
That's funny. Yeah. I always, when my memory's a bit bad, I always say, I'm not a hippocampus today. Yeah. A hippocamper today. Yeah. So anyway, so that's why things like bullying long-term can lead to things like dementia.
Right.
And they found that people with dementia have a hippocampus that is often as low as 9 to 10% of the size of what the average person with a good memory centre is. So it really, really, really shrinks. Now, the amazing thing is that there's been research in California the last couple of years with, I'll talk about this in a few weeks with Danny Fairweather, but basically they found there's this guy in America and he's been doing research and he calls it his 36-prong approach, and he made 36 up, by the way, out of he just said it one day in an interview and has been quoted ever since. But anyway, so his 36-prong approach, what a surprise, it's about looking at the individual and finding out what's going on with them. So it's going, you've had chemo and radiation, maybe those toxins are destroying your brain. You eat a bad diet, maybe we should look at a good diet. You're inside all the time, maybe we should get some sunshine. You never exercise. So he basically looks at a holistic approach, and he gets really good success over 4 years with seeing an impact on the size of the hippocampus. So they do actually regenerate if given enough stimuli.
Well, that's where the 16 comes in.
It really does.
Yeah.
So because it's never going to be one thing. You need to sort of work out because not everyone can do everything either. So it's about looking at a whole big list of things and going, okay, what are you willing to do in your life? Yeah. Are you willing to eat salmon 3 times a week? Are you willing to eat, a lettuce every second day? Are you, what are you willing to do? Can you drink?
What time do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Can you drink 2 litres of water every day? So it's about finding what someone will do, working with them, and working holistically to improve their health.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, now, why don't you just tell us once again where you are?
Yes. So we're at New Leaf Natural Therapies in Wynnum, and we're 94 Edith Street, and I think Sanu is on the phone today, and the phone number is 3348 6098.
Just do that again so people can write it down.
Will do. It's 3348 6098.
Oh, sounds beautiful.
Excellent.
Okay, now next week we'll have some good people.
Next week I will have my friend who talking about bullying in the workplace. So she's going to talk very specifically about what stress does to the health of the body.
Aha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we'll look forward to seeing you then.
Excellent. See you
then.
All
right, Madonna, have a good week and go the Cowboys.
Go the Cowboys.
It's coming up to midday. We'll check the latest news next.